A sophisticated lady who wears heels around the house, slinking down the stairs, requires some dedication to style. But how does the modern woman beat the bunions to stay on her feet?
You know what my choice is. There we go. Heel of about 4 inches this morning.
Do with violent criminals.
I see these people. Look, I can give you examples of people who are in prison for violent offences that shouldn't be there. Women who have fought against husbands.
You are now a role model for people. Did it not work?
With my poetry. And that's one of the things.
What we're asking today is not in an ideal society does prison do more.
Sally's at the Etihad. Still clearing up. Morning.
Bill, honestly, the clear-up hasn't even started. Have a look around me.
Very busy out there. Just get a broom and a waste paper bin. Just that litter's terrible behind. See you later.
And bring back some of those half-drunk.
The director is the guy or girl on whom it all succeeds or fails.
It does, but then you surround yourself. It's good. It keeps you out the pub, doesn't it? Because you've got to be the first in and the last out, and be thinking constantly, what have I not covered or what? Which is not really. That's not a natural state of mind for me.
Thanks very much, Carol.
Thank you.
Now, it's been nearly 10 years since we saw Arnold Schwarzenegger in a leading film role, but he did always promise he'd be back, and he is. The film The Last Stand is out. His time as Governor of California ended in scandal after it was revealed he'd fathered a child with his housekeeper, leading to a separation from his wife, Maria Shriver.
In The Last Stand, he plays a sheriff on the verge of retirement. I'll be catching up with Arnold, who is a big personality, and as you'll see, doesn't like to hang around.
Thank you.
And for providing Bill with his breakfast this
Thank you very much. Yes, back now to Declan. Fashion plate, of course, himself and the fickle world.
Practice, we're talking same thing again.
Well, there is a balance to be struck, and I think all those things...
Debate. Now let's catch up with all the sports news, and Sally's here again.
Do you imagine those Manchester City players are still nursing hangovers this morning?
Definitely.
I think potentially, yes. And why not? Because
Brilliant. Sally, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Sally.
Now, we reported on her success yesterday on Breakfast. Imagine if you're 15 and in the final of a music competition...
Not just any music competition.
Not
it's a big
just
one.
any.
It's not the school competition.
It is...
A bit bigger than that.
Frankly, the eyes of the world are on you. You could play it safe with a famous piece, or you could risk performing something few people have ever heard before.
Our next guest took the gamble and it paid off. Lara van der Heyden has just been named the BBC's Young Musician of 2012.
David, what? Your ambition?
Why this again? Why fighting this way? And it's not...
Was it just a pilot? It showed you that they're quite desperate, actually.
No, Benjamin, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I just wanted to say I find myself sometimes in the opposite position than I am here. You know, why are you here? And he looked and he said, that's...
Etihad Stadium. Morning, Sally. Thank you so much indeed, Sally. I think a Manchester United fan.
8:45 is the time. Carol, tell us about the weather.
Stop! I can't let you do the last one.
Why not?
Fostering is thinking, well, what would the impact be, the effect be on our children? Because there's intrusion and a lot of new relationships to be built. Did you find it difficult at times?
No,
Yeah, no. It's there, yeah.
How come he didn't ask you to go along?
Got to come back for the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Well, Benjamin, it's appalled someone could kill such a great creature for sport. Whose side are you on, the hunted or the hunter, if you've got a webcam?
This stag before, and when...
But
It's a bit on the nippy side.
Yeah, it's just looking...
Hardy is necessary.
A little bit nippy. Just looking through some of your emails this morning. You know, we were talking about cycling earlier on. This new survey saying that more than half of cyclists have at some point jumped a red light, at least once, they're saying.
Many people would think this is a simple case of breaking the law. Some cyclists, though, have been arguing that they are forced to get ahead of the traffic to keep themselves safe. In fact, Tim on Twitter says, I always jump red lights. It is actually safer. Goodness.
Good luck.
Plenty
Thank
of
you very much
coffee.
for coming in.
Thank
Lovely
you.
to
Thank you.
see. Thanks very much indeed. You can watch 24 Hours in A&E because it's on Channel 4 tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Come along to a Gary Newman gig. Am I going to stand out like a sore thumb? Has everyone got eyeliner and jet black hair?
No.
Are there people who dress up? I bet there are.
A bit, yeah, a bit. It's not the way it was, you know, not quite.
Came to be fostered.
They were 5.
Right.
And
So I'm going to keep mine tidy for a month.
It's possible to have contacts within the system.
NHS, for instance.
Well, what we did is we've given the information back to our volunteers.
Yeah, in a really nice
in
way.
a good way.
600, I was got a bit disappointed.
We'll get them to check the figures. Maybe it's more.
No, I'm sure it's true. It's the phone that actually put that together is very anarchy about such things. I'm sure he knows.
Lovely to see you here this morning. Thank you.
Music, and with good reason. Lovely to see you. The DVD, Gary Newman, Machine Music, is out on the 11th of June. The tour starts on Tuesday. Oh, so
With
hard.
pleasure and delight. Morning, Sal. What have you got in sport?
Good morning. Exactly what I mean. If I go to one of those. Delightful to see you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
And just a reminder, Europe's new album, Bag of Bones, is out now. The band, as we were just saying, goes on tour from around the 21st of November. Were you a Gary Newman fan?
Yeah, I like his stuff.
I mean, it's sort of musical brilliance. Lovely to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All from us for this morning. Breakfast back from 6 o'clock tomorrow. Have a good day. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Joining us on BBC Breakfast this morning. What an enormous relief that this little boy was. Tell us what happened a week ago when he was taken hostage. Who was his abductor? Why was he taken?
that's hard. I mean, one story was it's hard to let any child go. However, when you've brought them up from birth and for a year and a half, it was hard. Yes.
Is it something that you might, I mean, you're so young still, but is it something that you might consider?
Well,
thanks very much. Bill's out there in Washington for us, not just today, but he'll be covering the result tomorrow as well.
Other news now, the Home Secretary, Theresa May, will make a statement to the Commons today on the North Wales child abuse inquiry announced by the Prime Minister.
Yes, David Cameron says he wants it to be a rapid investigation so that they get to the truth behind the claims that sexual abuse... Morning, John.
Morning. After Lee Majors, surely. All right, John. Thanks a lot. See you later.
It's this surgery that she would not have been able to access and benefit from if she'd stayed where she was hurt. Racing winning the Premiership title. Sally's there this morning. Morning, Sally.
Tango left the judges wanting more drama, I say. Let's hope they were
due to go and investigate.
Yeah, I mean, the phone hacking scandal is obviously a really big story, but I thought it was a distraction.
Declan modelling those clothes, don't you? He'd have looked wonderful.
Now, coming up on the programme, we're going to be talking to Quentin Wilson about the rate of depreciation of your car. Yeah, yes. Apparently the running cost of cars going up £500 a year, according to the RAC.
First, though, let's motor over to our news teams across the UK.
See you in a moment. This occurred at Welsh care homes in the 1970s and 80s. An independent figure will investigate whether a public inquiry 12 years ago did its job properly and considered all the allegations made.
David Cameron has again defended his decision to try to sell British Typhoon jets to the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, despite allegations of human rights abuses.
Now, it's being reported that the Conservative MP Nadine Dorries is going to be taking part in the reality TV show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Ms Dorries, who represents Mid-Bedfordshire, will be the first serving MP to take part in the programme. We're joined now by our political...
And that scene develops in a rather interesting way, and I'm glad we kind of edited it out there. You first got together with Jennifer Lawrence in rehearsals where you had to dance together.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a significant amount of dancing, which in itself is kind of therapy, and lots of people find that dancing is fantastic, makes them feel good. Tell us about the dancing, especially
I was just
with
such
Jennifer.
American when I just said...
Are there some sports where killing animals, fish, is okay?
Well, I grew up on a sailboat for supermarkets out in the wild.
Great figurehead for British swimming, hasn't she?
Yeah, and I think the 2 bronzes at London for her.
Schwarzenegger philosophy.
In a nutshell, The Last Stand is in cinemas from Friday. In a moment, we'll be getting more reaction on David Cameron's speech, asking what it means for people in the UK.
First, though, a last look at what's happening where you are.
See you in a moment.
Final of our 2013 Pro Challenge. Tonight, Kevin and Jeanette are here to discover which of our professional dancers will take the crown. Could it be one of them? Or will it be Dubeck? And finally...
Every goal he makes.
I think there'd be some kind of forest in his honour.
In a sense, a campaign. I mean, for an actor, you get a job, you do the film, you promote the film, and then you have to do a second round, if you like, to big up the film for the Oscars. I mean, that's an important part of what a film is about these days.
It is. Because we are creatures of time.
this thing about, all the priests with their robes and there's not a shred of it, for the majority of people on the face of the earth, better than this. And I remember being told once as a little community, but because in another life you're going to be...
This is a personal story. At least the inspiration for it has come from your own family history.
It has. It happens. My uncle Heinz actually did a very heroic thing in that he appealed to the local Gestapo in 1942 in Kassel, where his grandmother, adoptive grandmother, was about hope, creating strong and humorous characters on both sides. There are no fingers pointed. Don't forget this.
You're writing a book
and
talking to other Big Brother contestants.
Yes.
Who've also had experience of racism in the past.
I did in my Big Brother too.
With the idea of seeing how this community dance project worked, were you going to give them some money? They were trying to help underprivileged youngsters.
Exactly.
You went with the most positive intentions, came out, and not only did the car get stolen, you were in it.
I was in the car. I got stolen. Just come out at the guy, let me out, and he screams back, shut up or I'll stab you.
Oh.